Hi guys, it's Sphynx. Today is November 20th of 2021 and I wanted to make a different kind of video. I already know that the YouTube algorithm is probably going to hate me because this is normally a channel where I talk about books, and I guess me talking about something that's super off topic and a little bit more personal is going to cost me some views and subscribers, although I don't have a lot of those to begin with. But I wanted to talk about something that is very important to me. As the title might imply, this is actually not a full account or detailed account about my coming out story, although I'm definitely open to talking more about that in the future if people want to hear about it. This is more of a personal video essay. And I actually do in fact have all of this scripted out. I have a Word doc over here. Normally in videos I like to be a little bit more spontaneous, but since this is such an important topic to me, I didn't want to miss anything or lose my train of thought. Aside from the fact that I really don't want to have to edit a really long video because this is going to be kind of long. So anyway, without further ado, this is the truth about me coming out of pretenses. So if you're seeing this, our paths may have crossed. We may have known each other at school, at work, at church, or through our families, through mutual friends, through YouTube, or through necessary connection. But whatever the case, if you're seeing this and my name sounds even vaguely familiar, our paths have crossed at some point. And at that point, and perhaps all the other points in time where we have interacted, you have had some kind of impression of me or your personal idea of who I was. Your perception of me, Spencer Soria, whatever it is, probably doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. However, at this point I feel ready to be a little more honest about myself, a little more transparent about my true feelings regarding two important matters, in the hopes that your perception of me can have a little bit more clarity. After all, perception is the predecessor of expectation, and I hope to subvert any expectations that people may have of me that I neither want or can live up to. So the matter first, and probably the obvious one, it would be my sexual orientation. For many of you who have been around me for more than 5 minutes, you may have asked yourself, is he gay? In fact, some of you may probably have asked me that question yourselves. After all, Spencer is effeminate, his voice is a little high, he's a little soft, he talks like a girl and all that. After all, Spencer likes music and singing and art and reading when every other boy seems to like cars and sports and video games and doing pranks on each other. After all, Spencer hangs out with the girls. He's studious, he's shy until he's boisterous. All the gaydars are ringing like crazy around him, so he must be gay, right? First of all, I think there is a lesson to be learned regarding toxic masculinity. It's not my responsibility to educate everyone about that, but suffice it to say that maybe these questions arise because of your expectations on what it means to be a man, as well as, consequently, what it means to be a woman. And that has been shaped by a misogynistic upbringing or a patriarchal society. Perhaps your idea of manhood is one that has to fit this arbitrary box of what it should look like, right? Or perhaps if you are of a more progressive school of thought, you've wondered, because I fit into all these stereotypes of queerness, so you took it upon yourself to nudge me towards labels that I wasn't ready for or really felt the need to consider. The question, is he gay? I've seen many of you whisper and your eyes betrayed that question. Is he gay? Every game of Truth or Dare from the second grade up, I was asked that question instead of, just like any other kid, you would be asked who your crush was. Is he gay? I remember a school bus driver when I was in second grade who decided to test if I was a real boy and asked me how many vaginas a chicken had. Is he gay? I remember an openly gay high school kid who kissed me on the cheek. I was in 4th grade and he just kissed me and walked away before I even knew what was going on. Is he gay? I remember a star varsity player who happens to be one of the sons of my high school music teacher who humped me from behind while I was in a duck cover and hold position during a fire drill. he thought it was funny, and the other boys just laughed. Is he gay? I remember people kind of staring at me when I flipped my head a little too enthusiastically during a dance practice for church. Is he gay? He's so moody. Is he gay? He loves Disney. Is he gay? He's definitely gay. So why won't he just come out? Well, through it all, I was just being me. I wasn't being gay or acting gay. I was just Spencer Soria, the boy who loved his parents and his 3 siblings, the boy who found expression in music and the arts when words were insufficient, the boy who took solace in books about magical worlds because at least they didn't judge him there, the boy who wanted to do well in school so that he could get that beautiful future they were always talking about, the boy who wanted to be friends with everyone, but because life turned out that way, he was found among the girls, the geeks, and the weirdos. The boy who thought he was just a little bit different, but apparently was different enough for him to be seen as peculiar, weird, queer, and is he gay? Well, here, dear friends, is your answer. It is an answer that many of you probably don't care about really, because of course you have your own lives to live, but it is an answer that I've tortured myself to figure out because so many of you wanted to make me care. It's baffling to me that the people who say that coming out is useless, that it's TMI, or that no one cares, are usually the same people who are quick to speculate or quick to tease people about being queer. Is he gay? Are you gay? All the questions keep coming back. Is he gay? All the questions resurface. Is he gay? All the questions torment me in the evening while you lie asleep thinking that you had done some good in the morning. No, I am not gay. And no, I am not straight. I can already imagine some people going, I knew it, I knew you weren't straight. No, but you didn't know either that I wasn't gay. I'm bisexual. Gratefully, I'm happy to say that never once have I been asked if I was bisexual. People just can't wrap their heads around bisexuality, I guess. It always has to be one or the other, right? It has to be you're either gay or you're straight. Because I've never been tormented with the question of whether I was bisexual or not, when I came to this conclusion, it was a label that I took freely upon myself, without the pressure or without the trauma. I am bisexual. I am attracted to people of the same and different genders. No, this is not how all bisexuals describe their experience and their identity, but this is how I identify at least. No, I am not equally attracted to different sexes, neither are the nature of my attractions the same, but yes, I am attracted to more than just one sex. Some people may call it being a varied type bisexual. Perhaps that's what I am, maybe it's not. Labels to me are not so much definitions of oneself as they are tools to describe part of one's identity. And sometimes you just don't need to describe yourself that in depth. I'm bisexual. No, I am not promiscuous or a cheater, although some bisexuals may very well be. I've never been in a relationship my entire life up to this point. No, I do not have a crush on everyone. I have many close friendships with both guys and girls who are, many of whom are very good looking and are kind, but no, I'm not romantically attracted to all of them. I'm bisexual. No, I am not confused. I was once when I was figuring out, I think it was my second year in college, if I was gay or demisexual or asexual, but I've come to learn those labels do not really apply to me and do not describe my experience. I'm also not undecided. My sexual orientation isn't dependent on who I end up being in a relationship with, if I do at all. It's simply an identifier of who I am attracted to. I'm bisexual. No, it's not a whole personality trait of mine. It may be for some. I have friends who lean heavily into that aspect of their lives, but that's not necessarily how I lean. Honestly, if anything, it's a huge personality trait of mine is probably reading and books, which will come as no surprise at all to people who know me. I am bisexual, and proudly so. No, I don't need more attention because of it, just understanding. No, I don't demand respect for it, It's not an award or a trophy. All I'm just asking for is compassion. The only reason I take pride in my sexuality is because of the many years that I've lived in shame, the many years of being disgusted with myself, the many years of trying to change how I feel, the many years of being tortured with the question, is he gay? No, I take pride that I've overcome that shame to such a degree that I've come to accept who I am and that I am able to be vocal about it without discomfort. I take pride in my fellow queer individuals, whether that be lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, intersex, asexual, pansexual, demisexual, non-binary, two-spirit, the list goes on, because many of us have had to endure varying levels of discrimination and disrespect, misunderstanding, and mistreatment, simply because of who we are. I was just being Spencer Soria, but I had to be tortured for it. So why wouldn't I be proud now of how I have risen despite that torture? So here I am, coming out, but not just coming out, I'm letting you in on a secret long kept. I'm letting you in on a little bit more about myself. I'm letting you in that perhaps you can stand with me as I come out of the darkness that once held me. I know some will celebrate this moment with me. Some will be indifferent and think it's no big deal. Some will feel pity because of what I've had to go through. Some will think I've chosen the path to hell. Some will be hostile and disgusted and think of me differently. I won't tell you how to feel or what to think. I'm just sharing with you my truth, that perhaps in so doing, I can let that truth set me free. The matter second, my faith. I know this may not be of relevance to everyone, but it is of relevance to me, and I wanted to be more open and honest about it, especially since it is closely linked to the matter first. So I was raised in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, informally and commonly known as the Mormons. Just a quick PSA, we don't really like to be called Mormons and would appreciate being referred to by our official name, even though it's kind of a mouthful. I was born of goodly parents, as we like to say in the church. I was what we call an active member. I was involved in everything. As a kid, I had memorized the Articles of Faith and memorized all of the 100 scripture mastery verses from seminary. I accomplished my Faith in God award when I was in primary and my Duty to God award as a young man. I had given out copies of the Bible and the Book of Mormon at Christmas. I helped direct the choir and helped put on a variation of the My Turn on Earth play. I was baptized, received the priesthood, attended youth conferences. I served the mission in Colorado. I graduated institute. I prayed, studied my scriptures, attended all my meetings. I read practically every new publication that the church puts out. I do my family history. I go to the temple. I did not only what is generally expected of a typical member of the church, I was very actively involved in literally everything to do with it. Some people are going to go, but Spencer, that's a lot about you, when your faith really should be centered on Jesus and what he's done for you. I agree, a Christian faith should be centered on Jesus Christ. But when culturally we emphasize so much more how we can prove our gratitude for Christ than if that gratitude is there at all, we run into some problems. We start devaluing honesty and say things like fake it till you make it, or a testimony comes in the bearing of it. It's not so much a matter of growing into faith from a place of doubt as it is displaying a sense of faith in the hopes that you find favor with God and with all the people around you. So that's the toxic culture within the church is born. We frequently refer to other people as being good examples instead of pointing others to Christ, who is the best example, in my opinion. We start wanting to fit a mold of perfection in an attempt to let others see our light, even if we have to hide the darkness that we harbor within. We start judging other people's shortcomings all the time, fearing that they will judge us for ours. We start focusing on avoiding appearances of evil instead of avoiding facades of deceit. Now you may be wondering, perhaps I never had a testimony at all, especially for my fellow church members who have known me for a while. Perhaps I've never had a true convictions of my beliefs. Perhaps so. But what of my experience I consider spiritual in nature? What of the answered prayers? What of the moments of clarity? What of me attending for the Strength of Youth Conference and feeling at home with the saints? What of me praying to know if the gospel was true and receiving an answer that it was prior to me becoming a missionary? What of my weeping whenever I listened to Rob Gardner's Lamb of God oratorio? Very quickly, people outside the church would be quick to dismiss these experiences as being able to be explained by psychology. Perhaps they are. In large part, I believe that they are. But in terms of interpreting these experiences, I see them not only as psychological in nature, but also spiritual. I've always seen myself as a spiritual person, if not all the time religious. I value connection with deity and the divine. I believe in a higher power who wants the best of us, or the best for us, in the eternal scheme of things. However, I would be dishonest if I said that my convictions regarding religion or Christianity or the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints specifically are and have always been whole and confident. It would be dishonest for me to say that I believe that absolutely everything that it teaches or aspires to be or practices is absolutely true and right. After many years of praying, studying, applying, practicing, questioning, and wondering, I've reached the point where I can admit that I don't believe everything that the church teaches. I'm not comfortable with some of its practices. I don't like the self-righteous culture that it fosters. I don't like how we are being told how to feel about certain things or how to interpret certain parts of history. I don't like the many false dichotomies regarding salvation and exaltation that it preaches, and I'm just done making excuses for it. I'm done defending something that I've tried so hard to believe in, hoping that I would be rewarded for my faith, hoping that it was a good enough expression of my gratitude to God. But now it's time for me to be honest. It's time for me to speak my mind. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not what people call in the church anti-religion or anti-Mormon. I don't plan on having my records removed, really, and I don't plan on criticizing every little thing about the church. Far from it. I have friends who have left the church and are very vocal about being against it, but at the same time, I have many friends who are in the church and who love it with all their hearts. I view these seemingly opposing experiences as equally valid. I do believe there's a lot of gray area regarding a lot of issues within the church, so I am willing to give the benefit of the doubt to either party. I believe both happiness and pain, both blessings and trials can come from both sides of the line. It really all just boils down to personal experience. I'm willing to be wrong about the things that I believe in, whether that's pro-church or anti-church, but I am no longer willing to be dishonest about how I feel. I want to be transparent about the things that I like and don't like. I believe that faith can be found in brutal honesty, not dishonesty. Being open about our true feelings, whether that's a faithful feeling or a doubtful feeling, I think catalyzes personal growth, and hiding our true feelings stunts it. There is a popular saying in scripture that in effect says, in the last days, even the very elect shall fall. And knowing people who tell my parents that they want their kids to be like me or my siblings, I expect this coming out will be the perfect example to say, see, it's the sign of the times, the elect are falling. I am not a sign of the times. I'm just a human being coming to my own reality. Not what you pictured for me. I'm not the elect that you perceive me to be. I never was, and I never asked to be seen as such. I don't have any anger towards the church. What I experience is more of a discomfort. Discomfort because I've had to keep up appearances to be a good example to others. Discomfort because I've had to testify of things that I was unsure of, or explain things about church history that didn't really make sense to me. Discomfort because, except for very few friends, I never felt like Discomfort because, except for very few friends, I never truly felt like I belonged. Um, Discomfort because I don't fit the mold of wanting to be married in the temple, or even seeing how that can be a possibility for me. Discomfort because I fear that without the church, my relationship with my family and my friends would be non-existent. Discomfort because, unlike for most straight people, it doesn't feel like God has a plan for me, a queer individual. You know, when I've opened up to some people about this, they've said things like, the law of chastity is the same for straight people and queer people. It's just as hard. No, it's not. Law of chastity, according to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, for straight people, you get to experience romantic expression before marriage and then sexual expression after that. But if I wanted to stay in the church, I don't get to do either, really. You straight people can tell each other stories of having crushes and falling in love and all your favorite celebrity hotties, but we can't without getting judged for tempting sin or engaging in homosexual behavior. It's wild to me to hear stories of people having sex in temple bathrooms right after they're sealed, and somehow people think that's kind of funny, that, you know, that's normal, that's natural, that's okay, even though it is in the temple. But a couple of the same sex whose relationship is just romantic and even in some cases non-physical, that's somehow unnatural and unholy. It's wild to me that while adultery and fornication are pretty much forgivable, because, you know, if you repent, at least it's with the person of the opposite sex that you were with, right? But if you are in a loving, faithful, committed relationship with someone of the same sex and you've never cheated, that's somehow more frowned upon. Some people would be like, because God declared it. That's what people like to say. God said so, and it's a test of our faith. And, you know, maybe this is just his trial. There's a thorn on your side. This is just the cross that you have to bear. People say no matter your life circumstances, God expects the same of everyone. The poor must still pay their tithes. The illiterate must still read their scriptures. The homosexuals must still marry the opposite sex in order to enter into the highest degree of the celestial kingdom. We are not the same. I'm not asking for pity. I'm just asking that we stop the indifference, we stop the dismissiveness, we stop the insensitivity. Because just because it seems easy for you doesn't make it any easier for everyone else who doesn't fit the mold that you fit. Again, I am not against the church. I'm more against extremes when it comes to perceptions of the church. And what I mean by that is, typically I generally dislike people who are either radical conservatives who defend the faith thoughtlessly, or those who are radically hateful towards the church, commonly ex-Mormons and anti-Mormons who are just full of hate towards the church. I once tried to be involved with radical faith defenders who call themselves Desnat online, predominantly on Twitter, thinking that it would be in my best interest to surround my people who did not apologize at all for their beliefs. I wanted that. I wanted to be fully committed to the gospel. But I was dead wrong. What I saw there was frankly unchristian and unrighteous. They were not defending their faith as much as they were attacking other people. And the same thing goes for hateful anti-Mormons. I know that not all people who leave the church are hostile. Some people, you know, they have negative feelings for the church. I have some friends who are like that, but not everyone is like completely hostile. But I've honestly never felt truly comfortable in spaces where these people, you know, gang up together and point out everything wrong about the church to the point where they want to make you believe that nothing good can come out of the church at all and has ever come out of it. And I just don't buy that. I've known so many people, relatives included, who have lived and died in the church, and they died happily. The church has blessed them so much. They love it. They love the gospel. And I just can't dismiss those experiences and those feelings for them. So I just don't believe in absolutes, at least absolutes that we have 100% confidence on. And I also just don't like seeing so much hate. I just want dialogue and understanding instead of self-righteousness and hostility. I want all of us to respect each other's humanity, to recognize the differences in our experiences and to learn from and support each other. And I hope that it's not too much to ask. This is, in fact, the very thing that I ask of you now. I hope that having listened to me for a few minutes, or a lot, you can start to recognize that the human experience is so complex. We don't all fit into these perfectly cut and folded up boxes with precise labels. We are individuals and we are human, and I hope that we are here to support each other. Some of you who are closest to me and who know me personally may have questions such as, what's my decision with regards to the church, or how do I see myself in the future? I'm willing to answer those questions if you want to have a conversation with me. Frankly, I hope you do. I hope you come talk to me and ask me, clarify some things if you need some clarification. I'd rather you do that than speculate and gossip and say things about me that are not accurate at all. Although, I can't control what you want to do or how you want to feel. I would just prefer that. But, generally speaking, right now, I'm just putting all of that to the side. I'm taking a little step back from the church, taking a break, kind of reevaluating my values and my beliefs. But frankly, I just want to live. I know as someone who has depression, that's not a feeling you always get, but I want to live without pretending to be someone that I'm not. Having anxiety and depression is hard enough as it is, as my therapist can attest to. Life is hard enough as it is, so I just want to have space for myself and to do so comfortably. I want to be happy. I want to make my own decisions. I want to do some good in the world. I want to respect other people and hopefully be respected as well. I want to love and be loved. If I'm being honest right now, I'm feeling a little bit frustrated with life. But honestly, ever since I've fully admitted to these two things, being bisexual as well as not being a full-fledged believer, I feel like I've been able to breathe better, honestly. I think I'm actually pretty excited for me to see my therapist again, because I think I've made significant improvement in my life emotionally and mentally. I've become more comfortable in my own skin, which, some people from my church may say that I've succumbed to the natural or sinful man. But if that is the price of honesty, then I'm willing to pay it. I'm not against personal growth or change, or new ideas, or being convinced of something. I'm not against spirituality. I actually love being a spiritual person. But I am against pretentiousness. I am against dishonesty. I'm against letting others dictate my own conscience. These past few weeks of finally not pretending have honestly been some of the best in my life. Again, most of you probably don't care about this, but I feel like I just needed to get this off my chest. You don't have to feel or respond a certain way, but I do hope that none of my friendships with you all will be severed. That people don't avoid me because of my sexuality or my doubts. Honestly, I hope that we can all still be friends. I know that's not going to be the case. I know some people would be uncomfortable after this. But honestly, if anything, I hope that we can all be closer friends. I hope that my attempt at being honest and being transparent can encourage other people to also be, honest and transparent about themselves and to be open to the people around them. And I hope that other people will feel comfortable and safe about being honest with me and sharing their true thoughts and feelings about certain things. Anyway, that is all for now. That's all I have for you. Thank you guys for listening. I love all of you, and I hope that I get to talk to you guys soon. That is it for now, and I'll see you later.